Hello, this is my first review for the Nightcap Gaming channel. This is a review of one of my favorite games, probably my favorite, the top favorite game. Not Halo, as one that knows me might assume, but Psi-Ops, the Mindgate Conspiracy. Psi-Ops, the Mindgate Conspiracy was, I see it as an archetype to games like Prototype, Infamous, Crackdown, and then it has that great emphasis on fucking around with supernatural powers. But those games take it to a free-roaming aspect where Psi-Ops is the linear third-person shooter. The story isn't really anything remarkable. You're a super soldier from this government corporation with amnesia. You have to go on a quest to take down the evil government authority known as the Movement. You have to try to regain your powers and regain your memory. You're helped out along the way by a chick with her evil twin sister that tries to kill you. And it's a generic-ass story, but hey, I'd play some fucking Red Dead Redemption if I wanted a good story. And don't get me wrong, Psi-Ops isn't horrible, and I love Red Dead Redemption. Don't get me wrong, I love Red Dead Redemption for more reasons than it having a good story. But I like Psi-Ops the Mindgate Conspiracy because of its gameplay. It's very, very unique gameplay. I believe a good way to describe some of the elements of Psi-Ops is schadenfreude-tastic, as Yahtzee might say. Basically meaning that you are pretty much enabled in any way you want to fuck with your enemies. Get pissed off at an enemy, light them on fire. Run up behind them and blow their minds, literally, with mind drain. TK slam them into a wall. TK slam them into a fire pit. TK slam them off the edge of a map. TK slam them into a spinning fan and cut them into a million pieces. Or if you're boring, you can just shoot them, because you do have a gun. And guns are, assault rifle, machine gun, pistol. Your generic, pretty much, your bullshitty third-person shooter weapons. But you don't use those. You use your mind powers, because they're really awesome to use, and it's just a fun game. There's other game types, too. You have dark mode, which I guess just makes the game darker. And Psi-Ops is already a pretty dark game, color scheme-wise. You have an arcade mode, a really interesting cooperative mode, which I don't know how it works on the PC, but at least for the Xbox, you have to have, well, of course, two people, but one person controls the powers and the footsteps. The other person controls the camera and like who you attack and the guns and that, or some kind of division like that. It's been a while, but you both control a part of the same character. You're not playing like two different characters. You're controlling two parts of Nick Scryer, the main protagonist of the game. It's just an awesome game and really unique in many aspects, and I'm just sad that it didn't get as many sales as it should have. It was critically acclaimed, or at least pretty well respected, with I'd say like 8.5 as being the average review for the game, but it wasn't really applauded like a lot of other games were, so it kind of slipped under the radar. It wasn't really sold that well to consumers. And then there's the whole lawsuit Midway got around 3 years after the game came out. That pretty much sealed the game for... That sealed any chance of there being a sequel to the game, which is really sad because it was just a fucking awesome game. I mean, name another game where you could light someone on fire, shoot them a few times for good measure, and then TK slam them into a wall 20 times. Any feeling of anger you had is just gone when you realize you can do that. And that's what Psi-Ops did. I mean, this is the game that makes me want to get into game design. I mean, I'm currently going to be going to college for computer graphics technology because of games like Psi-Ops and Mindgate Conspiracy being just so fun to play and so good at relieving stress. And I mean, even besides that, there were other game modes you could unlock too. Like I was going into, you have dark mode, you have cooperative mode, you have arcade mode, you have, multiple difficulties, of course. But then, depending on how you did the missions, you had to find the secret collectible gnomes. And when you found those gnomes, you could unlock bonus missions that just explored the physics engine, fucked around with it. The game was built on the Havoc engine, so, that's what we're working with. But, like, there's an element of the game called TK surfing, where you stand on a flat object and then lift it up with telekinesis, and you can move around on it, kind of like a surfboard on no water. You could do that and navigate an obstacle course. You can use it to throw objects at balls, pool balls, snooker table, and play pool on a giant pool table. You can try to use your telekinesis powers and throw boxes at a giant statue to knock it over. It just had a lot of fun bonus missions that really explored the mechanics of the game and the physics engine. It just made it really fun to play. I mean, even when you're not killing things and you're just fucking around with the physics engine, it was a really well-constructed game, and it took the piss out of itself quite well, I think. You had the main bad guy of the game, the General. You could unlock his skin, and then you could unlock him having like a clown get-up where he has like makeup on and shit. You could unlock alternate character skins for pretty much any character in the game. There's dozens of skins if you happen to check like game FAQs or whatever for codes. It was a game built on cheat codes too. I mean, how often does that happen where you put in number codes and then you unlock extra content? Of course, this is the content you can get through playing the story, but you had to play through the story and get all the collectibles to unlock this stuff. You could play as Scorpion for Mortal Kombat. You could play as alternate characters that didn't, or I believe alternate character skins that didn't make it into the game. You could play as the bosses. You could play as the bosses and then fight in the boss rush mode against the bosses. Different skins had their own abilities, like using the Edgar Barrett skin gave you increased telekinetic powers that meant you could lift up heavier objects. It was just a deep game in that respect. It was deep gameplay-wise. It was really well thought out, which is why I feel like talking about it, because it's a heavily underrated game. And I'll go on Reddit or whatever and see a thread in our gaming about, hey, what do you think's a really underrated game? And I always have to look through that thread, Control F, and, find it, and look for someone talking about Psi-Ops. If no one else mentions it, I'm going to fucking mention it, because I love Psi-Ops. It's a game I play every so often when Halo pisses me off or when I get mad at Vindictus. Minecraft doesn't really piss me off, but when I get angry at a game and like, damn, games are pissing me off, I play Psi-Ops and realize, damn, a game can be really simple and still awesome. I don't know. You just have to play it. It's free, literally. I mean, I'll even post a link in the description for this video. You could just download it right now and play it. I've never actually screwed around that much with the PC version because the controls are a little bit complex for me. I'm not used to PC games, honestly, but it's literally a free game now because they just said, all right, we're going to go ahead and release it for free. So you have no excuse for, not trying it. You got to at least play a little bit of it and just try to see what I mean. Look up some videos on YouTube, some other videos that show gameplay footage and talk about it. It's a really awesome game, and I hope you try it, and I hope you like it.
It's my body now.
Where's the General?
The General was using me all along. Now he's come here to unlock the power of the monolith.
The General thinks that he's going to gain the power of the god.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to stop him.
Ready to play?
Sarah!
The final phase draws near.
Damn it!
I'll enjoy ripping out your soul and using your body to take the monolith for myself.
You're insane.
They used us! Used us for their own ends and discarded us when we became a problem.
Mundane humans may have used us, but that doesn't give us the right to destroy them.
The General and I will acquire ultimate power. No one can stop us. Soon all the world will worship us as gods.
I remember everything now.
And remember to comment, rate, and subscribe, and invest in the future potential of Nightcap Gaming and all of its videos. Or else we will use combustible lemons and blow your house up. Peace.